Carbide Burrs, those precision rotary tools made from tungsten carbide composites, are powerhouse assets in workshops for grinding, deburring, and shaping materials like metals, woods, and plastics. But their true potential shines when integrated into an optimized workflow that prioritizes efficiency, reducing project times from hours to minutes while minimizing errors and tool wear. In a busy fabrication environment, where tasks range from prototyping custom parts to batch finishing components, time-saving tips revolve around strategic planning, tool management, and process streamlining, transforming sporadic use into a seamless production rhythm. Efficiency hacks like batch processing and tool switching not only accelerate output, but also enhance safety and consistency, as the Burr's fluted designs, operating at 10,000 to 25,000 RPM, demand quick adaptations to maintain momentum without downtime. By breaking down workflows into verbal timelines and productivity analyses, users can quantify gains, such as cutting a single deburring job from 15 minutes to 5, or scaling a 10-piece run from 2 hours to 45 minutes, ultimately boosting throughput by 30 to 50%, and freeing time for creative or high-value tasks. Batch processing stands as a cornerstone efficiency hack for Carbide Burr workflows, grouping similar operations to minimize setup changes and maximize tool utilization, particularly effective for repetitive tasks like smoothing edges on metal brackets or texturing wooden handles, where switching between roughing and finishing phases can otherwise fragment time. Verbally narrating a timeline for a 20-piece aluminum bracket batch, start at minute 0 with preparation, organize blanks in a jig tray, and select a coarse single-cut cylindrical burr, 1/4 inch head, for rough deburring, spending 5 minutes clamping the first 5 pieces in a multi-station vise. From minutes 5 to 15, engage the rotary tool at 15,000 RPM for linear passes, 0.02 inch depth per piece, processing the group in parallel by rotating the jig, clearing chips with compressed air every 2 minutes to avoid clogging. Transition at minute 15 to a fine double-cut flame burr for blending, dedicating 10 minutes to feather edges on the same batch, achieving uniform raw finishes under 3.2 microns without individual repositioning. This batched approach yields a productivity breakdown of 75% time savings over sequential processing. Individual pieces would take 1 minute each for roughing, 20 minutes total, plus 30 seconds for finishing, 10 minutes. But batching compresses it to 25 minutes overall, factoring in 20% efficiency from reduced tool swaps and 15% from consistent momentum, allowing for seamless scaling to larger runs while preventing operator fatigue from repetitive setups. Tool switching emerges as another vital hack, optimizing Carbide Burr workflows by pre-planning sequences and using quick change systems to slash transition times between shapes or grits, essential for multifaceted projects like contouring a custom knife handle that requires roughing, detailing, and polishing in one session. Verbal timeline for a single knife handle from walnut. At minute 0, mount the blank in a rotating vise and attach a tree-shaped burr, 3/8 inch taper, single-cut flutes, for initial hollowing, spending 2 minutes at 8,000 RPM to carve the grip swell, 0.05 inch depth. The burr's pointed end accessing undercuts efficiently. At minute 2, execute a rapid call as swap, under 10 seconds, with a quick-release chuck, to a finer oval burr, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, double cut. For blending curves, dedicating 3 minutes to orbital passes that smooth transitions without flat spots. By minute 5, switch again to a pointed cone burr, 1/16 inch tip, for engraving finger grooves, using 4 minutes of precise orbits, 0.005 inch depth, to add ergonomic texture. Productivity breakdown reveals 40% time reduction versus manual changes. Traditional setups might consume 30 to 45 seconds per switch, up to 2 minutes lost. But quick change mechanisms and pre-organized burr stands cut this to negligible, enabling a full handle completion in 9 minutes instead of 15, with 25% gains from uninterrupted flow and 15% from reduced error rates in rushed transitions, making it ideal for batching multiple handles in a production line. Beyond batching and switching, efficiency hacks like speed zoning and accessory integration further refine Carbide Burr workflows, tailoring rotational velocity to material phases and incorporating aids like flexible shafts or dust extractors to eliminate interruptions, ensuring sustained productivity without compromising precision. Narrate a timeline for a 10-piece resin model batch. From minute 0 to 3, zone low speed, 6,000 RPM, with a ball-nosed burr for rough hollowing, processing 2 pieces at a time in a jig to establish forms, 0.03-inch depth. The controlled RPM, preventing melting in the resin's low thermal threshold, around 100 degrees Celsius. At minute 3, integrate a flexible shaft extension for reach into curved details, switching to 9,000 RPM with a flame burr for 5 minutes of contouring across the batch. The shaft's flexibility allowing ergonomic positioning without repositioning the vise. Incorporate a shop vac extractor from minute 8 to 10 for final texturing with a fine cone burr, clearing resin dust in real time to maintain visibility and speed, 0.002-inch passes. Breakdown shows 35% overall savings. Speed zoning avoids 20% rework from overheating, common in unzoned runs. The extension cuts handling time by 15%, and extraction prevents 10-minute cleanups, compressing a 20-minute individual process to 10 minutes per batch equivalent, highlighting how these layered hacks compound to transform workflows from labor-intensive to streamlined, empowering users to tackle larger projects with confidence and minimal waste. Organizing the workspace with dedicated burr stations and digital tracking amplifies these hacks, creating a production line mentality even in small setups, where verbal timelines guide the flow from intake to output for maximum throughput. For a custom hardware batch, e.g., 15 brass knobs, minute 0 to 2 for intake. Sort blanks and preset 3 rotary tools with burrs, cylindrical for roughing, oval for blending, cone for engraving. On a rolling cart, minutes 2 to 8 for roughing station. Batching 5 knobs at 12,000 RPM to deburr stems, 0.01-inch depth. The preset tools enabling instant starts. Minutes 8 to 12 for blending, switching stations seamlessly to feather edges. Minutes 12 to 16 for engraving personalization, using the cone burr for quick motifs. Final 4 minutes for quality check and packaging. Productivity analysis. This zoned setup saves 50% time over a single tool linear process, 30 minutes versus 15, with 30% from no swap delays, 15% from batch momentum, and 5% from organized access, reducing errors by 20% through visual checkpoints. In essence, optimizing Carbide Burr workflows through batch processing, tool switching, and integrated hacks crafts a symphony of efficiency where verbal timelines and breakdowns reveal quantifiable gains that turn time into tangible productivity, allowing creators to focus on innovation rather than repetition.